Good morning. Just getting ready for today's lesson here today. And Shane had done her 5-minute example of what it was to have a disagreement on something that we couldn't agree on. And so I had to kind of replay back what happened on that. So we're going to give you an example of my response to what Shane felt like during that response. First off, the whole thing really got blown out, but what I understood Shane telling me was that her mom really expected honesty to be a part of her discipline with her kids, and that Shane felt that because of how she was with that it really was impacted for Shane. But what I did and what I did feel I did wrong is I felt like I responded in a way not valuing her feelings about that. I didn't feel like I was valuing your feelings about that, Shane. So I in turn was automatically just going to, like, my thought process goes to, yes, it worked for you, but did it work for your siblings in the same way? Because of my understanding of what your siblings had gone through in life, was it as effective on them as it was for you? And so because I didn't just focus on what the whole content of your thought process was, I felt like I alienated you as to what you, and didn't value what your whole thought process was, when all I was trying to do was bring in the fact that what works good for one isn't necessarily for everybody. And so, but I didn't express it right to you. So I feel that I left it hanging out there, and it just created this find a bad guy situation in our whole conversation, which means that we're trying to find out, I was trying to find out, and I felt like you were trying to find out the whole thing, what was going on. And it all escalated into a fact that I didn't feel I was being heard what I was trying to express, because I feel like you shut down after I didn't value what you had to say. And because that happened, it moved next into what I felt was an attack on my mom, because she failed me in a lot of aspects as far as nurturing. And that wasn't a value that, if I asked my mom, she would say she probably valued, but from Shane and you, from your and my perspective, she wasn't nurturing in that way. And in fact, it was more negative in that direction. So I became offended by that, and was defending her in the fact of saying that you're putting your mom on a higher pedestal than my mom, and it created this division in there. And we just kind of got in it. Once we started going that direction, I feel it shut down our whole conversation, because I felt I wasn't being heard. And I know that you felt, I feel that you didn't feel that you were being heard as well. And so basically it came to a point, I feel from remembering back, that we just shut down from that conversation for a while. We took a time out from it. And I had time to process that a little bit more. And then Shane I feel you already knew where you wanted to be. And I had to come alongside and figure out what it was I was feeling. And so upon doing that, we got into a conversation later down the road. And I feel like I was more heard after that, because I was expressing what I had said earlier about just moving into her other siblings, and not valuing just what the whole content was meant to be, was about her and her relationship with her mom, with your mom. Sorry. And so I feel as though that everything that happened was because of my lack of being able to communicate what I felt. And so, and yet I feel also the ownership lands on both, in fact, that because we were doing this, we moved into the polka dance in our communication. We were dancing around the whole subject and not getting anywhere. And so I had to come to a point where I had to take ownership for what I was thinking, and I feel you had to take ownership for what you were thinking. And in doing so, we finally came to a resolution that we sat and talked after, I feel, and said it was so silly that we took something so small and turned it into something so big. It don't have to be that way. Thank you.